My dungeon master consensually gaslit me, and I feel great. For such a delicate topic, how did you handle it? How did I react as a player? And how can you take something which is tricky and run it in a fun and safe way at your table? This is my friend Kat, artist of the awesome ident you're about to see, and more importantly, the DM in question.
I'm Kat, and he is Rich, and this is Renegade Rolls.
Oh boy, this video comes with a great big content warning. We are going to be talking about gaslighting, which is manipulating someone into questioning their own perception of reality. It's a form of coercion and control in relationships and can be incredibly damaging to a victim's mental health. To use it for fun at your TTRPG table requires enthusiastic consent from everyone involved and a huge amount of care from the game master. And to be honest, I would not recommend trying this at home unless you are very confident in those around you. We're not going to dramatise any of the gaslighting scenes, but we will describe them and then our reactions as well. If you choose to comment on this video, please do be respectful of other people's experiences. If you're comfortable with all of that, let's continue. Our story begins in session 10 of the D&D 5e campaign that Kat is DMing called Nun's Struggle, a grimdark horror set in a beautifully bleak homebrew world in the midst of a war.
We pick up in the coastal city of Payne Kobe. More precisely, a room on the second floor of an empty inn. Guards stand watch inside and out as the party puts 3 faction representatives on trial. 2 almost identical ancient weapons. Guns that corrupt those who touch or use it. But only one was truly ancient. The other one was a replica. Zergon from the Stripes, Gilbert von Karn from the Royalists, and Cinnabar Sunder from the Eternals have orchestrated a heist of the deadly ancient artifact, in the process of which a replica of the weapon was made. Zergon of the Stripes had hired a warforged Denzella to steal the weapon. Zergon of the Stripes stands up from his seat and moves towards the ancient weapon and its replica. Before anyone could react, he grabs the real one, points it at himself, and pulls the trigger. Runes on it begin to glow as magical energy gathers, space warps, the shrieking cries of spirits fill the room. The weapon drops to the ground. Visions, screams, anguish from past wars flooded their mind. For a brief moment, chaos broke loose as most lost their minds, their memories. The world has changed to erase Zergon of the Stripes. Their minds filled in the gaps. It was someone else who represented the Stripes. Shopkeeper they knew. Of course, none of them acknowledged what just happened, or that their memories were altered. Not even the world or the narrator knew. So, I, as the DM, as the narrator, told the new truth, as if it was always that way. Zergon of the Stripes? Who's that?
My first reaction genuinely was to doubt myself. We play online, so initially I thought, well, what have I missed? As I sometimes struggle to say 100% focus during a game. Kat did a brilliant job of continuing with the lie after the big twist, not missing a beat, so I started to rationalise. Oh, maybe this was something the others knew from last week's session I missed. Maybe I've misremembered something. Oh, maybe I've got those characters mixed up. In all honesty, I'd kind of forgotten a lot of the things that we'd agreed during Kat's campaign pitch and the session 0, so to be gaslit by my lovely friend and excellent DM, who I put my trust in every week, was shocking. To feel that very personal level of uncertainty is not something I've felt around a game table before. It felt like walking around one of those haunted houses at a theme park where people in costume will jump out at you. It's a very different experience to watching a film. This attack, while fake, is still shocking, and it's happening to me, not a character in a film. To be very honest, in the moment, it's not a feeling that I liked at all. But in the context of the game, and as one of many emotions and psychological states to feel, it's jarring, but it works. For me, it added something unique, which, looking back on it after the event, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I appreciate it, and it was a really interesting experience. We agreed that the campaign would have elements of psychological horror, and that's exactly what we got. My only worry is that this campaign's only just getting started. I have no idea what other horrors Cat has got brewing for us. I feel like this could have very easily gone badly wrong if Cat hadn't worked so hard to make sure that we were all on board and willing victims. So how do we bring gaslighting to the table and pull the rug from under our players in a good way while ensuring we still have enthusiastic consent from our players? Ideally, as DM, you want to make it clear from your campaign pitch to potential players what the themes of the game might be. Discussing the potential for psychological horror needs enthusiastic consent, those words again, from everyone involved, or it just should not happen. It's better to find another group of players entirely than to try and force it upon people who aren't excited by the idea. Your plans should be reiterated again at session 0. You are having a session 0, right? Along with safety tools and all that other good stuff. Cat did this in such a way where the potential for gaslighting was mentioned, but it wasn't a dominating factor of the session 0, though we all still agreed explicitly that we'd go for it.
What I have presented before is a dramatized retelling of what happened. It looked quite different at table. I was really nervous about how it would turn out. First of all, I wanted it to have an impact. Well, what does that mean, right? How can it have an impact? It means that the player has to first understand what has happened very well enough where if I change the story, like suddenly start saying something else, they would be able to recognize that I'm lying or I'm telling something different, spot the difference, right? And so for that, I have, during the session, checked over and over and over again that they understood the mystery. I know, and so I have checked again and again and again to make sure that when that change happens, they'll be able to spot it. Another thing that I was thinking about while GMing is I want it to be very telegraphed. Well, at least for this situation, it's very obvious that there was a switch happening, right? This kind of gives me a peace of mind to really go all out on the gaslighting. Zergon picked up the gun and shot himself. Then everybody went a little crazy. Yeah, clearly something's wrong. Everything calms down suddenly, and I, for some reason, retell the mystery, the truth of the mystery, but something's different. The worst thing that can happen is the players don't pick up on it, and then they're just a little confused or whatever. I think of the DM as an NPC for this occasion, because it's very important to have a bridge of trust between me as the GM and the players, because I am their eyes, and for this moment, the narrator, who was their eyes and thoughts and feelings, their window into my world, was also confused. So it was very important for me to separate this window into the game world and myself. We play with cameras on, and I can tell if somebody's like, what? What? And if they seem very confused, then I can swoop in as myself, Cat, and tell them, look, you're not going insane. Yeah, the narrator, the GM, is gaslighting you, and no, it's okay. And at the end, I make sure that everyone understands what's happening, because I really don't want the players to be confused for a long time. It's a way for me to reach out from the monitor and be able to make the players feel how the characters would, right? Breaking the fourth wall, because we have agreed to play a grim, dark horror campaign, and I thought, I wanted to craft an experience, and I think it turned out pretty well.
After the session, or in a mid-session break, check in with everyone and make sure they're still having fun. As GM, check in with yourself. It can definitely take a psychological toll deceiving your friends like this. Hopefully, as Kat did, you were able to make it very clear what was going on and you brought everyone along for the ride with you. If not, take a break and see how they're feeling. On the subject of checking in, I'd love to know how you feel about this video. Please do comment and share your views. Have you had different experiences with a GM playing tricks on the players? Is it something you keep away from entirely at your tables for a lack of trust, or you just know your players won't enjoy it? I'm really curious to hear what you think, and I'm interested to see the conversations this might spark. This video is one I debated doing for a while, but decided on balance that it could give some positive advice to an area of gameplay that isn't often discussed. There's something which sets a lot of the groundwork for the video you've just watched. It's worth thinking about how to get the vibes right at your table. This can make or break any session, regardless of if you're trying to do anything unusual. So I'll see you over there, or at a table near you, rolling an improbable succession of ones. Cheers.